The push for protections based on gender identity is the civil rights issue of our day. It is, well...
Derisive laughter from members of the Fairfax County population, parents whose children are in Fairfax County public schools, at that big school board meeting that happened earlier this year. That was Ryan McElvain making the pronouncement that protections based on gender identity is the civil rights issue of our day. And at that meeting, despite the huge turnout of the actual parents involved in these schools saying, no, please don't do this, the board voted 11-1 to include gender identity and transgender individuals in their discriminatory practices. They don't even know what their policy was, but they were going to approve it.
Yeah.
Well, joining us right now is Mychele Brickner. She is a former Fairfax County School Board member, and the reason we're opening this question up now, months later, is because the Fairfax County School Board, Mychele, has decided to not respond to Freedom of Information requests, asking if there were any emails between the Federal Department of Education or the Commonwealth of Virginia's Board of Education and Fairfax County School Board in preparation for this decision. They're not saying there weren't any emails. They're just not responding. They're ignoring these requests, even though they're supposed to respond in 5 days. What do you make of this?
Well, I thank you for having me, first off. Certainly, it appears to be that they are trying to cover up information that clearly was occurring between state and local and even possibly federal officials, and hiding it from the public. And their stalling and delay tactics are going to impact an election on November 3rd for school board candidates. So, we can't just sit around and wait for this, and that's why we decided to get very proactive on it.
Well, hold on. I mean, the law is the law. If you file the request and you pay the fee, and as I read the stories about this, it does appear that the fee has been paid. They are supposed to, within 5 days, they're supposed to respond. What do you think's going on there? What ultimately do you think is the smoking gun that they're trying to cover up here?
I'm not sure what the smoking gun is. I believe that they're, based on the timeline, that they are in communication with people, and we just wanted to validate that.
And if that's not the case,
then what communications have occurred.
And if that's not the case, then all they got to do is release them. I mean,
that's right.
Release what they have.
They are clearly protecting sitting Democrat school board members. By the way, I just want to correct, the vote on this was 10-1 with one abstention.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for that. I don't know why I thought it was 11-1. You're right. I forgot about the abstention.
No problem.
Yeah, and our guest is Mychele Brickner, and she's in the process of trying to get the Fairfax County School Board to release information, whether there were any emails with either the Attorney General's Office of the Commonwealth of Virginia or with the federal government. Here, you talked about the timeline. On March 4th, without anybody asking, it's not like there was this big hue and cry in the Commonwealth or in Fairfax County saying, we've got to do something about these poor transgendered students that we've got. This was not a burning issue. But Mark Herring, the Attorney General of Virginia, issued an opinion on March 4th saying that if school boards want to, they can go ahead and change their non-discriminatory policies to include transgendered individuals. And then almost immediately, Ryan McElvain took this and started to move this legislation through.
Right. On March 5th,
the next day.
Yep, the very next day, within hours, submitted a request to amend our policy, our non-discrimination policy.
And the obvious connection of dots there is that there was some coordination with the Herring office, with the Attorney General.
Right. We as parents and citizens and taxpayers out here just want to understand what brought us to this point. We filed, before the vote, which was May 7th, 7 FOIAs were filed. And the first 4 FOIAs received a response from the school system within 7 days, acknowledging that they had received our request for FOIA. The last 3 FOIAs We never received a response on that. By the way, these FOIAs were filed through Judicial Watch. They're experts in this.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Right. And those FOIA response never came from the school system until September 16th, 132 days later.
Amazing. And they still haven't responded. All right, listen, we got to leave it there. Mychele Brickner, but let's just reiterate one very important element here.
Yeah.
Fairfax County School Board does not want to release this information and expose to the voters of Fairfax County exactly what went on because there's an election coming up, November 3rd. That's in 2 weeks from today.
Right.
But guess what? Whether they release that information or not, the election is still happening. So the information that they don't want to release, the information that they're trying to defy the Freedom of Information Act law and try to protect, that should motivate you to vote just as much as the release of the information.
You
would.
just should assume the worst, because if it's not that, then where are the dang emails? Where's the track record? Where's the documents? This stinks.